So welcome back to the channel and our latest training video, but this is not any ordinary training video because today I'm going to be attempting my first ever double threshold session. So I've been running now for 25 years and in that time I've done all sorts of sessions, but one thing I've never tried is doing two effort sessions in the same day. So what is double threshold? The idea is that you do two sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, just below or around your lactate threshold, and in doing so you're able to get more volume in by splitting the work over two sessions and into intervals than you are by doing it straight off in one big session. So it's a method that's been popularised by various Norwegian coaches and probably most famously advocated by the Ingebritsen brothers, and you'll have seen Jacob Ingebritsen recently winning medals at the Olympics and breaking the 3,000 metre world record. And if you're a regular watcher of running YouTube, you may have seen many runners attempting double threshold sessions, but these tend to be at the faster end of the spectrum and younger end of the spectrum. What I've never seen is a runner of my age, and I'm 54 years old, attempt something like this. So a bit more background: I have been running competitively for about 25 years and I am used to high volume running. In fact, I just checked my Strava and over the last 4 weeks I've averaged 57 miles a week, so it's not massive volume compared to some, but for somebody of my age I think is quite a respectable mileage. So as far as this double threshold goes, it's not the volume that particularly concerns me, it's whether I'll be able to manage the volume and the controlled intensity that goes with it. So the plan today is to do two effort runs. In the morning I shall be doing 5 times 1 mile at between 150 and 165 heart rate. That's about the effort I'd expect to run during a marathon, given my current fitness. And in the afternoon I'm going to be doing 10 times 800 meters, so again 5 miles worth of work, but working at a slightly higher heart rate range from 160 up to 175, and 175 is, I reckon, my lactate threshold, the effort that I would be able to hold if I ran as hard as I could for 1 hour. So yes, in the absence of a lactate meter, which I would be using if I did have one, but they cost between £300 and £400, the best way you can monitor that your efforts are in the right level for these double threshold sessions is by monitoring your heart rate. So in this video I'm going to be taking you on both those runs, and then at the end I'm going to give you my conclusions as to whether double threshold running is something appropriate for runners of my age 50 and beyond. So 20 to 10 and I'm just about to set off on my first ever attempt at a double threshold day. So this morning's plan is to run 1.5 miles out in that direction along the trail, and then do 5 times 1 mile with 60-second recovery at a heart rate or effort that is around what I would expect to do in a marathon. So let's get this done. So is double threshold running either something you've attempted yourself or that you've known a runner over the age of 50 try? If you have, let me know in the comments below, and let me know what you think the pros and cons of double threshold running might be. So setting up this session on my Coros watch, there's various metrics you can have it show you. You can run to a set pace, a set heart rate like I'm doing today, a set percentage of what it thinks your threshold heart rate is, a set percentage of what it thinks your threshold pace should be. So lots of good tools to play around with there when you're thinking about a session and what it is you're actually targeting. So leading into today, I've made myself as fresh as possible. Last Saturday I did the podium 5k, Sunday a medium run of just over 1.5 hours, and then Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday have been easy days. So why 5 times 1 mile? When I've looked this up and seen other YouTubers, I've watched Benny's running, Ben Felton, Andy Rayner, Ford Runner doing this, they've done something like 5 times 2k, but looking at the amount of time they take to run 5 times 2k, it's similar for the amount of time I'll take to do 5 times 1 mile. So it's somewhere between 7 and 7.5 minutes time on feet. And because this is the first time I've ever done this, I thought let's play this cautiously and sensibly, because that's one of the whole ideas of double threshold training. You're not leaving everything out there, you're not coming back vomiting and wanting the earth to swallow up. It's controlled, it's strong, and leaves you fit and fresh for the rest of your training week. So it's time to get going. Mile 1 done. Couldn't see the pace flash up, but that's no bad thing. The whole point about this is it's an effort based run, not a pace based run. beeping down and into mile number 2. This one is a slight down gradient, the first one's a slight up gradient. Number 2 done, still feeling nice and controlled, which we need to be because we've got quite a lot of work to get through today. So let's head off for number 3. Three done, feeling strong, as you'd expect really. This session is 5 times 1 mile at around marathon effort, so it should be nice and comfortable, but obviously more effort than this is standard zone 2 run. Gorgeous, isn't it? Love running up here. We're so lucky to have this. Magic Wood, where magic happens. So that's 4 done. For number 5, rather than going back out and having a 2.5 mile cool down, bear in mind I've got a session this afternoon, just going half a mile out, turn round and finish here. So it's 1.5 miles back to the car, down this beautiful trail, the old Woodhead line between Sheffield and Manchester, which was closed in 1980. I mean, who'd want a direct train line between cities like Sheffield and Manchester? But I'm not complaining because it gives us this beautiful running route. Turnaround time to get the last half mile done. So that's part 1 done, just the cool down to do. So what's going to be crucial now, by the time I get in, it's going to be about 11:15, is to refuel, get some protein in me, get some carbs in me, and keep my carbs topped up until I do the second run at about 5:30. I don't want to eat something that's going to be too heavy lay on my stomach and ruin the second session, so I'll probably need to graze on easy to digest food for the rest of the day. Ring them bells. You still there? Hope somebody comes to the rescue. So just back at the car and already prepared for the first bit of the recovery for the second session later today. So when I got home I had a protein yogurt and then treated myself to 20 minutes in the Recover Pro inflatable trousers to aid my recovery. Then further lunch full of micronutrients and some rice because that sits easily on my stomach. So as well as double threshold day, the other big event today is it's haircut day, so that's now done. What I've seen, having a haircut isn't an essential part of the double threshold, but it might make me a little bit lighter for this afternoon session. 5:30 p.m, we're back on the trail for session 2. Like situation, okay. If I'm asking them, do you want to do 5 miles worth of threshold work? They're saying, probably not. If I ask them, can you do 5 miles of threshold work? They're saying, quite possibly. So let's give it a go. My heart rate a bit higher than normal on this warm-up, which is probably the effect of this morning session. So I'm glad it's a session that's going to be controlled by heart rate again. So rather than this morning session ending up at around 7:25 pace, I'm expecting these half-mile repetitions, because half a mile is what I put into Coros. I'm expecting to be a few seconds either side of 7-minute mile pace. So obviously about 3 minutes 30, but it's slower going up, a bit quicker going down, so maybe in the 320 to 340 range, but let's see. So warm-up done, prevarication done, it's time to get into this. I think the first two I'll take going down. So a little note of caution, if you put 2 sessions in your watch for the same day, make sure you get the right one. It started by trying to make me do this morning's session all over again. I had to stop and restart. But it was nice to see my camera crew who had arrived ready for some filming. So on rep 1, unsurprisingly, I found my legs were a little tired and I found it hard to get into the right heart rate zone immediately, and this repetition of 3:39 actually going down the trail would prove to be the slowest of the session. So another thing to note there, if you are doing double threshold, don't get spooked if the first rep on the evening session isn't as fast as you want it to be. Oh, we survived it. We survived, but have we thrived? Let's go and talk about that now. I felt surprisingly strong for most of that. Was fading and working hard a bit for the last 2 or 3 reps, but that's what you expect in any session. If anything, I would suspect a little bit of leg weariness meant it was harder to get into the higher heart rate ranges. Also, the fact the repetitions are only half a mile long meant that you spent the first part of each repetition getting back up and into the lower reaches of that heart rate zone. Whereas had it been longer, you probably got up further and stayed there longer. So the limiting factor there was leg fatigue rather than the aerobic side of it. So let's have a think about what went well there. Well, I completed both the sessions as prescribed. I felt strong on the second one, and I've gotten a really good volume for the day, including the warm-ups, cool-downs and little jog recoveries between intervals. I'll have covered between 15 and 16 miles today, so good volume. As to any long-term training benefit, like anything we're running, it's consistency. I would have to be doing these week in, week out over a training block, and that leads me into probably the main drawback of this is the amount of time it takes. Now, I've got the fueling, the rest, recovery between the sessions absolutely spot on today, but I'm obviously not at work. It would be possible to squeeze the first session into a lunch hour, but you'd be compromising on the warm-up, cool-down and the recovery and fueling and hydration you need to do if you have to dive straight back into working with other people. So if you're self-employed or have flexibility in your job, it's absolutely, I would recommend it, a great thing to do. If you can take a slightly longer lunch break and work a bit later or start a bit earlier, then by all means, to get my seal of approval from these 54-year-old legs. So to answer the question, are these for older runners, not just younger and faster ones? Absolutely. In fact, the older you are, the more recovery you need. So the fact you're getting recovery between each interval and the recovery across the course of the day is probably even more beneficial for more senior and veteran runners to engage with and include into their training. What do you think? Is the double threshold method something you could see fitting into the training regime of an older runner? So I think we've proved that a double threshold training can work for a 55-year-old male, but who would like to see a double threshold session from a female 60 athlete? Give us a thumbs up if you'd like to see that happen, and we'll make it happen. Would you like to do it?
Watch out next Friday.
So I hope you've enjoyed this video, got something out of it. If you have, please give us a like, and if you'd like to see further training and Dawn racing for England tomorrow and us racing a half marathon in 2 weekends time, then please consider subscribing to the channel. We upload frequently. So until next time, keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.